Well, if you've been watching this program for a long time, you've heard a lot about so-called inflammation. It's the human body's response when faced with something it can't process. And it's the root cause of heart disease, cancer, memory loss, and much more. Well, here's the good news. Inflammation can be stopped, and according to America's pharmacists, it can be done without drugs.
Suzy Cohen is known as America's pharmacist. She has spent years educating people about the benefits of natural vitamins, herbs, and minerals. During this pandemic, she says it's important to protect your body from inflammation, which can affect your eyes and your GI tract. To keep you healthy this fall, Suzy will show you how to improve your eyesight with natural remedies, as well as strengthen your immune function in preparation for the cold and flu season.
Hey, Suzy, welcome back to the 700 Club. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you, Pat. It's wonderful to be with you.
Well, what are these cytokines you've been talking about? How do they affect our eyesight?
So cytokines is just the term for inflammatory compounds. And a lot of people actually know what they are because we've been hearing a lot about them with COVID and also with the flu and other disorders. When the body is out of balance and it's sick, the body's natural response is to fight back, and it creates these inflammatory compounds. They're not necessarily bad unless they're in excess. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands we need them. They have a healing purpose, but in excess, they run amok and they take over our bodies. And at the end of the day, it could be the difference between life and death in some people. So controlling cytokines or inflammatory chemicals is key to regaining our health, our optimal health from head to toe. Now, as it pertains to the human eye, it's a very delicate tissue, and we actually have a graphic. I could talk about the eye for just a moment, give our viewers some background. We have the pupil in the middle, which serves as the window, and if the pupil is the window to our vision, then the cornea, which is the transparent clear part on the outside, is actually the window blind, and that controls the amount of light that's going into the pupil. And then all of that information gets transferred via electrical signals to the back of the eye, which is a very important part. It's called the retina. And we hear about the retina sometimes with people with diabetes. And then right in the center of the retina is the macula. So the macula is very important in terms of it, having the most important part of you hear about macular degeneration. When that starts to, happen, then people lose their sight. And there's so many things that can go wrong, even with cranial nerve number 2, which is the optic nerve. And the optic nerve is what transfers what you see with your eyes to the brain so that you can form the vision. So with all of that aside, I'm just basically trying to say that when you have inflammation in the body and it attacks the eyes or the optic nerve or any part of the eye anatomy that I've described, you lose clarity, you lose focus, you have difficulty with night vision, experience tearing up and watering, and sometimes that's just from eye fatigue and eye strain from staring at a device all day. So there's many, many things that can go wrong. So protecting the eye from the outside is easy to do, right? We use eye packs, we use eyeglasses. That fixes it pretty quickly for most people. But nobody really stops to think about the inside of the eye, which is where nutrition comes into play.
Well, you've been talking about vitamin DMB. What's that?
Oh, vitamin DMB. So that's not an actual vitamin per se. It's a mnemonic for 3 different nutrients. So vitamin D3, magnesium, and B for B12. And this was information that Singapore research conducted. And what they found was that with all their participants, there were 43 in all, that those who took that trio, that trifecta, natural trifecta as I call it, actually did a lot better in terms of the severity of their COVID symptoms. And those 3 vitamins can actually help with the eye as well in some ways because of the fat solubility of some of the nutrients, and also the fact that magnesium and B participate in pathways to support the human eye and vision and eyesight in and of itself. And I have some things on the table that I could go through to help our viewers understand what they could be eating and what they could be doing. As an example, the tomatoes, they protect the retina, which is in the back of the eye. The carrots contain carotenoids, and that's very important. Everybody knows that those will turn to vitamin A, so that's important. The vitamin C is shown by the lemon there, and that vitamin C is thought to help with macular degeneration. So eating citrus and lemon can help us. And of course, we all know that vitamin C prevents scurvy. So that's things that you can just do very simply to increase your nutrition for the eye. And then moving over, the black currants and the saffron are shown there in front of Vision Script, which is a supplement I created for eye health. The black currants are crazy amazing. In 2005, there was a study that showed that eating black currants could improve blood flow to the optic nerve. That's not a drug. That's food, right? That's food. Plus, black currants are known to support moisture in the eye for people who have dryness in their eye. And then there was another study that also supported black currants for its use in intraocular pressure, which is associated with glaucoma. The saffron shown there, this is really cutting edge. This is new. So saffron is known to do a lot of things for eye health, improving visual acuity, helping with light sensitivity, and protecting the retina as well. And also has some benefits in terms of pressure in the eye. And you can eat these things. So everything I'm saying applies to eating them. I'm not making any claims about my supplement. My supplement is for supporting eye health and eye nourishment. So those are just simple things that one can do to support their eye health.
Well, let me ask you about this B12. People talk about sublingual. Is that the way to go with it or some other way?
B12, so the reason they say that sublingual is because they say that a lot of it will get destroyed in the GI acid, which is true. You can make your own B12. You can make it by having a healthy gut microflora. It's manufactured inside of you in the gut, thanks to your probiotics. So sometimes just consuming the right foods or probiotics will help you manufacture B12. And B12 can also be taken by itself. It can be taken orally. So there's many aspects to B12. When you say B12, you could be talking about different forms of B12. The one that I recommend is either methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin, which is important because I shorten it to adeno-B12. That adeno-B12 actually works in the mitochondria. But the two together would be great in a B complex formula along with other Bs. B is just one member of the family. When you say B vitamins, it's like all the sisters and brothers are all together, and B12 is just one of the sisters.
Okay. Well, let's see. What about this corona problem that is facing us now? We've talked about the gut flora being so very important. What are some of the things that will kill the gut flora?
Some of the things that kill the gut flora include fast foods that are just laden with all kinds of chemicals and anything artificial, in my opinion. There's a lot of debate on that, because you have healthy people that don't eat well. But by and large, things that raise inflammation basically kill the gut flora. Remember, your immune system lies in your gut, in your GI tract. That's where most of your immune cells lie. And we actually have a graphic. I can speak to that for a moment so that we have a little better understanding of some of the cells that do the fighting for us. So this is our military. This is what keeps law and order in the body. And at the top, eosinophils, I just honorable mention, those are helpful with allergies. But then you see at the bottom row is huge when it comes to COVID. You have the T helper cells, also known as CD4 cells. These sort of create and get the T cells kicked into gear. And the T cells, they're cytotoxic. They'll kill things that don't belong there. But they also have another function. They activate B cells, and the B cells create antibodies, and that's what we need to recognize an invader when we encounter it again. And then we have the natural killer cells. Those are my favorite because what do? They kill. They go after the bad guys. They also go after tumors, and essentially they help control the spread of tumors, and they help control the spread of disease and viruses and bacteria. And then at the end, the macrophages, think of those like the Pac-Man, if you will. They engulf viruses and bacteria that they encounter. So all of those cells are, that's basically a very quick, 101 of our immune system. And when that's not working, or when some of those cells are out of balance or diminished, then we become more susceptible to COVID. And you see this in people with comorbid conditions such as diabetes and heart disease and obesity. Their cells are out of balance, and there's ways that we can naturally support that by reducing inflammation and also eating right, and also taking supplements. I'm a pharmacist for 30 years. I know it sounds weird to hear it, but I'm not all about the next best drug. We need them sometimes, but we can also use what God put on our earth. We have what we need here sometimes.
Well, Suzy, are you saying that God has given human beings the ability to withstand these coronaviruses and other viruses come if we will look after those little fellows in our guts, that they will do the job for us if we treat them right?
Well, I don't want to paint a wide paintbrush. It's such a color such that everybody thinks that they don't need to seek medical attention when they do, because obviously when you have symptoms, you'll need medical care. So I think my point is that if you take care of your body, it's like a bank account. If you put money in your savings account, then you have it there later for when you need it. But little things such as the olive oil. So I brought olive oil, which is shown on the table with some olives and olive leaves. Olive oil contains a powerful substance called oleuropein, which has significant activity for viruses, and it was shown in one study to have significant activity against respiratory syncytial virus (RSV) and certain flu strains. So just using olive oil instead of maybe a soybean oil, or instead of a vegetable oil, that really puts a lot of money in your savings account for when you need it. And aside from that, people in the Mediterranean, use olive oil routinely in their cooking, and it's amazing and has amazing health benefits. So olive oil, and the extract is known as a powerful antiviral. And then I also have on the table a supplement that I created called Immune Script, which, as you can see there's a picture of there's actually a flower there. That flower is Andrographis. And Andrographis, it's not very popular here. It's more native to India and Asia, but this flower has traditionally been used over time for GI problems and dyspepsia, even leprosy and upper respiratory health. Not my supplement, the flower, Andrographis paniculata. So it's well known and traditionally used for many conditions in the lung or the throat. And I think at this time it could be particularly helpful in supporting upper respiratory health and immune function. There's one more ingredient in Immune Script that I don't have on the table, but it's called skullcap. And skullcap is kind of like a nightcap for your brain, a nightcap for your skull. Maybe one reason they call it that. But within skullcap, there's a constituent called bicalin, and this is very powerful when it comes to doing a lot of things in your body that support immune function, and also to help with mood and to help with sleep. So basically like an adaptogen for your immune system.
Suzy, where do we get all these things? I mean, they're just so wonderful, but where do we access them so we can take some ourselves?
So the foods are readily available everywhere. And the supplements I have at my website, which is SuzyCohen.com. And actually this, for your viewers, I've decided to offer a blessing. And with every purchase, I will be giving away a full bottle of 14 capsules, which is a week or two supply of joint script. This is a supplement which contains frankincense. It also contains collagen, and it can be really helpful right now, not only for your joints, which the name implies, but also to help with maintaining healthy cytokine levels in the body. So it shoots to kind of balance all of those cytokines in the body, and that's its mechanism of action in terms of how it also helps with flexibility and cartilage and joint comfort.
Well, Suzy, you're terrific. We're so glad to have you with us. Again, the book is called Recipes for Better Vision, and you can find it in the supplements she mentioned by going to her website. It's SuzyCohen.com. You're a dear friend. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, Suzy.
Thank you, Pat, so much.
All right.